Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Callum.
Hello.
How's your week? And how are we all?
We were just saying how we start every week the exact same way, weren't we? It's no
Yeah,
different. It's been exhausting. I've
we
no
are keeping
energy.
constant pace and constant level of business. At least that's the
Yeah,
honest answer.
yeah.
But maybe we can start our episode today a little bit different because various things happen in between, and of course our channel is growing. We have more and more subscribers. And by the way, like, subscribe, share it with your friends, family, and colleagues right now. That will be the initial call to action. But thanks to our growth, we are also, unfortunately, we're facing some HR topics and applicants who wants to work for us, but in the coffee shop, and that's the
Yes.
problem.
This week we have been inundated with emails. We've had one or two before, but this
Yes,
week for
that's
some reason we've had loads of emails. People wanting to apply to work in the umbraCoffee shop. And they're all from Indonesia. I don't know what's special about that. Maybe there is a coffee shop called
maybe there
umbraCoffee in
was some.
Indonesia
Maybe there was some. Yeah.
that's using our email address. But no, we've had applications this week, pleading letters of people after jobs. We've had someone sent their birth certificate through and their passport to prove that they were able to work and they had some qualifications. We need to be very clear. We're not a coffee shop.
Yeah, and I think it's worth to mention, if you are watching it right now and you were expecting an HR announcement and information if you are hired or not in umbraCoffee store, we might disappoint you, but we are talking tech here in Umbraco, and we are looking for front end, back end, and full stack developers mostly, not baristas yet. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe one day. But yeah, I missed it as I switched phones, and I didn't have the umbraCoffee email there. But it seems like Callum, our HR growth hacker and manager, managed it very well.
I
We'll
don't
reply
have the
to you
heart.
soon.
I don't have the heart to email them back and say, I think you've got the wrong
Yeah,
email.
we need to be honest and help them reach their proper destinations. But it's interesting. But it was an interesting week for me because I received a coffee from Secret Santa and book about coffee, plus another coffee from Kogur's team as a gift of appreciation. So I'm full of coffee. I will skill up my coffee skills this year for sure into the highest level. So maybe this coffee shop idea is not a bad one in the long term. So yeah.
It was last week that you
shop.
ran out of coffee, wasn't it, Marcin?
Yes,
just
that's
before the episode.
maybe I was heard somewhere. I don't know. I don't believe in coincidences. So yeah, that's the initial starter for this week, and we also will start from different set of news this week because it's not from releases but from the events, because probably it was the biggest announcement this week, of course affecting us all and interesting us all, and it was about Code Garden. And we can start from here. And the official call for speakers process is open now. But also next to the announcements of call for speakers, we've learned more about the event itself, right? So there's a summary of the vision of the event, when it will happen. We can already save the dates, how it will look. So hybrid, as we discussed. So there will be opportunity to meet in person, but also join virtually. Same venue for the in real life event, and 2 tracks: technical, creative, and business and commercial. Anything, Callum, from your perspective, which you found different, interesting, or challenging for you?
There's so many things here. Firstly, the dates have actually been confirmed. Previously, we had no idea. We just had the week. I think we were able to pretty much guess when it would be, but 15th to the 17th. It's a hybrid event. The in-person event will be in Denmark at Dock 5000, the regular venue that there's been in the past. Tickets aren't available yet, they say, in the coming weeks. Here's something interesting. In historical Code Garden setup has been the Wednesday, like a pre-party on the Tuesday. On the Wednesday, there's been talks. The Thursday, there's been talks. And then the bingo on the Thursday evening. And then on the Friday, they've had an open space session.
Circles.
Now,
yes,
they've announced here that talks will be on the 15th and the 16th, but not on the 17th, which implies there's going to be some kind of open space. And I'm really interested to see how they would do what they're going to do with that Friday for the hybrid event. So that's going to be very interesting. Some other interesting things are okay, there's the 2 proposal limit, which has been in place for a few years now. It's very difficult. I know why they've done it. It's also difficult for speakers to choose 2 topics. It's a problem for many people, I'm sure, but that's not changed. The one thing that has changed compared to last year is talk slots are 25 minutes, which is very short. It's very, very short, in honesty. And I said to someone earlier this week, I can talk for 10 minutes or an hour, not really much in between. And last year, my Code Garden talk overran by a couple of minutes. I know that. It's really hard. And I'm just interested to see what that does to the content. I don't know. You can't do a really
but you know what?
dive in like a lightning talk type.
It also means either more talks or more different topics. That's the positive side effects of having shorter talks. And we've been discussing it before going live, that it's tricky for some of the talks and content, especially hardcore technical talks or code walkthroughs. But it also means that as a speaker, and we both speak a lot on the events, it's like we need to really take the caviar and the essential points of our messages and just condense them and zip them.
delivering a succinct technical talk in that amount of time is a really difficult task. But as you say, it's all about getting just those nuggets of information that people came to hear about. And I guess the really important thing here is you've got to make an assumption about your audience. And I know that the call for proposals says kind of who's the target audience for your talk. You're going to have to make an assumption about, okay, there's going to be a level of existing technical understanding, or you're going to go for the more entry level stuff, which is absolutely fine. And we're going to end up then with talks that aren't a cross between the two, which we've had in the past. When someone talks for an hour, kind of assuming a level of knowledge, is going to split that quite nicely. The other thing to note here, of course, being hybrid, 25-minute talk actually is quite a long time to be sitting in front of a computer screen and watching a talk, especially in succession. If that was to be an hour, that's even worse. But for the in-person thing, it's maybe shorter than you'd expect. So it's going to be a really interesting balance. I'm interested to see how they do all of this.
Same here. But it's also worth to mention that this kind of diverse talks, destinations, and tracks, because every year we talk about it, and probably we can also both agree to the fact that we enjoyed a lot of non-pure technical talks before on the previous events, and there is a goal similar to previous years to really mix all of them, and again, it's for you who watches today's umbraCoffee and reads the call for proposal announcements, that everyone have something interesting to share, and there is a lot of content outside of our coding or project building stuff that are very, very interesting and motivating and inspirational for people who attend events like this. So as usual,
this developer live topic, and it's like, actually there's so many things you can share. Everyone has something to share about their experience, and that's true. That's really valuable to people. You'd be so surprised how valuable those talks are.
We all learned a lot through the pandemic, and I always did encourage people to submit ideas of their talk, and this is not changing this year as well. So if you are a project manager, account manager, designer, UX or developer, whatever else roles we have also in our teams, there's always something interesting and inspirational from what we can all benefit from. So deadlines are on March 3rd, and
so
there is also something new.
Less than 3 weeks.
There's also something new. Speakers Academy. That's something what we also wanted to mention. It's the free virtual event workshop organized on February 24th for all of the people who wants to polish, tailor, discuss, just consult their ideas for talks before submitting. There will be still a week, maybe not too much, but enough to polish and summarize the proposal, and there will be a team helping out with it on the virtual event like this. So everyone,
all the links for that will be down below. Get your topics in, sign up to the Speakers Academy, get thinking. I know last year I kind of tweeted out some ideas, a list of 5 or so, and said, what do people think? Because I could not decide. And I might do the same this year. Come up with some things I want to talk about, see what the people want, and submit what I think. Interestingly, the ones that got selected on my Twitter last year was not the talk that actually ended up being selected by the submission committee either. So
but
you never know.
that's also the committee as well. And here I believe it's same as in other Umbraco events. Very helpful people are on the other side, and if they will see the potential in the talk, they will definitely drill further and help you make sure that this will be the content delivered. So definitely there's no fear of submitting idea, and submitting ideas is not a final idea yet, and everyone can do it. So yeah, links down below. But there's also another event that was unrevealed today. It's very hot news.
Minutes ago.
Yes, 10 minutes ago. Of course, there was a tease last week and in the previous weeks about Code Cabin, and now it's official. So Code Cabin is back for 2022. So again, more details were shared this week. The team has grown, and Lottie and Carl joined the team at Code Cabin to help facilitate it and host it. And it's happening on September. Yeah, September, the weekend from Friday 16th. Everyone can apply. I don't know how it's related, how it's organized with the previous applicants, because I know that there were years where some submissions were just cancelled, or it's hard to say, just postponed. But probably everyone can just resubmit or just reuse whatever it was there, and yeah, try to join the event there. Callum, you've been on one, right, or two?
Yeah, I went to the last one, whenever that was, 2019, I guess, October 2019. It was very, very good. Very good event. I was skeptical going into it, thinking it would be a bit cliquey, and it wasn't. It was very, very good, very productive weekend, and got to know a load of people that I wouldn't have expected to get to know. So yeah, highly recommend applying. Very, very good event. They've also called out here their COVID policy. So this is great to see. Of course, spending a weekend with 22 people in a cabin is not going to be ideal if coronavirus is still rife. But they've said they're going to ask everyone does a test before they come, and then just try and keep it as safe a space as possible, really, which is good to see that they've considered that. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it all can go ahead.
Fingers crossed. That's true. No more waves, hopefully, of COVID, and we will be able to enjoy events like this. Plus, what I wanted to mention from someone who watches the Code Cabin from the outside, a lot of people who were there grew very in the community from various perspectives, created new packages, been more recognized along the events. Hopefully also found some teams and job opportunities if they were freelancers, because I must say I recognize more of the people who I didn't know previously before some of the Code Cabins, and they become more and more active thanks to probably the whole spirit and atmosphere that was just injected during the events there. So that's also something what needs to be considered if someone wants to just maybe, I don't know, start the community activity, or it's not only for people who are in the community for ages, but it's definitely something what for everyone to consider. So that's about events so far. There will be some meetups announcements later on, but we can go back to Umbraco, because the release we discussed, the RC we talked about previously, is now no RC. It's a final release. 9.3 is here, and we can enjoy. Did you kind of have chance to play with 9.3 already?
I've not had a look yet, but I've got a couple of projects that are prime candidates to update to this, so I will in the coming days. The membership stuff, we've been doing a lot of things with members recently, and actually this is really powerful. So proper 2FA support for members. The Umbraco's identity stuff internally's never had that wide up. There was, I recall, just some comments that said, "Hey, we need to do this at some point." Never got done. Better being able to bring some different authentication providers are cool. Performance improvements in here, some minor things around how JSON gets stored. Here's a new one: the Umbraco logo in the top left-hand corner of the back office. What do we think about that? Because that's a new one for me. I'm not a fan visually. I've got so used to that really clean bar on the top, but it kind of makes sense. It would be there. It was there in V7.
Yes, we've been discussing it in the team recently, especially in terms of white labeling or building some clients solutions with the client's logos. We've seen it in the Perplex solutions as well, that the logo was replaced by the client logo. I see a potential in maybe enhancing this behavior for clients tailored solutions, but I don't know if it will be possible yet. I didn't check the code or flexibility of it, and yeah, I also got used to the clean version, and it requires some more time spent in front of the screen there. But yeah, it's there, and we can probably try to hack it, change it, or extend it if you want to. Yeah, there is also a great video. That's why we won't be focusing too much on specific features, because the team from Umbraco did a great job with Rune, Bjarke, Warren, and Ronald, who unboxed the 9.3 release, showed in the video how to code some stuff and use some of the new features out there. So if you are curious about the specific features and new enhancements, just go and view this video, and you will know everything about this particular release. Yeah, and I kind of like this unboxing videos because previously you needed to install and explore on your own or follow the release notes, and now you can just watch the video and you know everything. So that's great job from Umbraco HQ team, and some community contributions, pretty nice ones. Yep, that's 9.3 according to the schedule, and some new releases from the community. One is really interesting because I haven't used Slimcy for a while, and it seems like it got upgraded now for V9. And yeah, Javon said that they were very busy recently, and there is also some implemented benefits from the new versions of Image Sharp inside of the Slimcy, such as WebP processing, what means for all of us that we can even go crazier in terms of performance of our images and medias, thanks to Slimcy and abstractions of the media usages. Callum, did you use Slimcy back in the days? Because I know we were always hacking things around.
I've not used Slimcy since early V7 really. Whenever it first came out, and it was using, I think, Slimage.js as the kind of JavaScript library to handle the resizing of things. Haven't really. We generally define specific crops, and our own like picture tag, which is better when you want to kind of have control per breakpoint of the art direction of your images, where the focal points are and stuff, which I don't believe, not used it in a while, don't believe this does. I think it's just kind of, squashing them down as and when it comes about. But yeah, I'll give it a try. I know a few people on our team have used it.
Yeah, I remember, again, as the developers, we have a desire to hack everything ourselves, and all of the image processing we've done previously seemed to be also tackled and solved in the previous versions of the Slimcy at some point. The image tags, for example, that were very beneficial for being used. Same here with the new features from the Image Sharp. I wasn't even following the Image Sharp updates, and I believe that Javon and the team did a great utilization of whatever is new in the Image Sharp too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really tempted now to check more about it and yeah, see if it can fit and help in some of the projects that we do. Did you also see maybe not that happy and good message from James South this week as well about his time off from the open source contributions, and I saw a lot of Umbraco community people replied very friendly to James and shared the support. We've been discussing it. James had a good and bad times with contributions and people who were not always helping in terms of managing and maintaining of his project.
I think it all stems from people's feeling of entitlement. So I saw a great thing earlier on Twitter. I can't remember who said it, but it was that open source isn't actually about giving back. Open source is about people taking an idea, throwing it over the fence, and making it someone else's problem to maintain. And I kind of think that's true. Like, if you're contributing to open source projects and you're not considering the wider picture direction, that these people running it, they generally don't get paid. They have lives. They do their own things. That they don't owe you anything. In fact, you should really owe them something. At the very least, some gratitude or a beer or something. But I know James has often said about the struggles with selling licenses for Image Sharp, which thousands and thousands of development hours have gone into, and there's huge corporations using it and they're not paying for it. So yeah, I fully get it. I think this week's issue stems from someone. It could have been an innocent request, could have been an innocent question, just asking when Image Sharp Web going to come for V2. And it's like, just let it happen.
Sometimes, sometimes you need just a small trigger to just go over and remind all of the other issues like this. And yeah, I think what we have here in Umbraco community, we are kind of in the very good and better position than other people because we understand the open source more. I believe that's my feeling at least. But if you are just it's hard to say just a developer from the outset, but if you are not that into open source, it's sometimes natural and not harmful if you ask questions like this. But then if you know the struggles, if you know problems behind the scenes, and what I flagged the most from the James messages this week was that he feels and he shared that he didn't get too much recognition or benefits, if we'll wrap that into this world, from building this kind of products that are used by millions of people. And that's something what might give a lot of thoughts for all of us, because numbers doesn't matter. Sometimes sales matters more than the software, and sometimes just good software is just a good software, but directed to the different directions. And we shouldn't expect big careers from building amazing tools, and the other way around. We shouldn't aim to stay hidden because we do some open source stuff, and the other way around. Interesting story. Interesting story for maybe longer discussion about the issues. There are some inputs about the Umbraco logos, and Lee shared that it wasn't in V7.
I've just Googled this, and Lee is right. However, I think maybe the default,
there was a button,
the user logo or something. It was up the top there. There was something. It was at one stage there was an orange Umbraco logo in the top left-hand corner, and I can't remember if it was a package.
It was 6. It was 6 at some point. Yeah, that's
in 6.
Well, good memories. Good memories. I trust Lee on his judgment.
Yeah, I know. For sure.
But yeah,
the Umbraco archives.
It's back. Another package that was released this week is called Composition Relations, and it brings the relations on the document type level and informs us from the development perspective where this particular composition is used or composed. I don't know, Callum, if we didn't discuss it at some point, that it would be really cool if there.
The other day I was trying to refactor a doc type that was used as a composition. I was going, I don't know where this is used. And I ended up using the models builder models and looking for an interface named the same thing to work out where it was used. And that was just not very helpful. Equally, being able to find all of the pieces of content that are using a certain document type would be great. Is this document type used in my site at all? Would be really, really handy. This package is awesome. I'll be installing it. Really helpful to be able to see this information when you've got a composition. Which doc types is it used on? Should definitely be in the core. We've got that on data types. We've got it on media to tell us which content items it's used on. It really should be something that's rolled out to the doc type editor too.
And imagine now that you have relations, so you have the direct connection between these two and tracking of it. So now if you are, for example, making changes in this composition and you save them, you can be notified that, these are the document types that you've changed. Maybe, I don't know, revisit or check if they are still correctly interpreted by your templates or views, etc. So that might be interesting entrance for future use cases. But the initial information is here already, and that's something what we can start from. And no more need of scanning for interfaces as you did. I kind of really like it. So good work here. Definitely to be tested. Another interesting one was shared by Michael here on Twitter as a video and animation here, and he writes code in the back office. That's both interesting and scary. So yeah, we've been talking about this, right, Callum? And this back office is run inside of the tool. I don't know if I didn't lost my screen preview now.
Yeah, we
it's
can
blurry.
see it. It is a bit blurry. I think that's Twitter just compressing images and videos to next to nothing. Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, how many times have you used even just to test something out, like .NET Fiddle, which is the .NET tool in the browser where you can compile stuff in real time? How many times have you used LinkPad with Visual Studio to test out, like, does this return the value I'm wanting, or can I just quickly perform an action? This does make sense. There is a use case for it. In the back office, it makes me feel a little bit icky because of security. But yeah, it's
again, as a quick reference, quick test, quick validation of something before you will spin up the whole environment for testing. That's definitely useful, and I would love to learn more about it. And yeah, I think a lot of people interest about it. Yeah. Good stuff.
Something I've said for a long time, and it's been on my packages list to do, is like an XPath Explorer, where you could just have, I believe maybe someone built it. I maybe have seen this, but you could put your XPaths in and see the and kind of see what content it brings back, so that you can make sure you're requesting the correct things. And actually, this is a nice way of doing that too, isn't it? You could, although there's no output window there.
Yeah, I remember the query builder functionality in the templates viewer, where I referred to for all the new people starting working with Umbraco, like please check it out. What you can do, you can query content, build some queries, and there was a nice preview of what you will get from the content. That was very useful, and same with the things like that. When you are experienced and you know for what you can use it, you can only benefit from using it. That's the true answer for that. So yeah, good stuff. And last but not least, from the releases section is an update from Matt and vendor team with some pretty new cool enhancements for the vendor project. And Callum, you probably have more knowledge about it, because I believe you still uses a lot of vendor.
So we've not only been using vendor a lot, but we've been using this exact build of vendor on a site.
Nicely.
Not actually for the editable carts or the search stuff that Matt's added, which looks really awesome, but actually for some of the underlying changes. There's going to be some breaking changes when this comes out. The underlying changes to product adapters, and I've been saying to Matt, we've got an internal library that has a load of vendor helpers and extensions in it that does a lot of stuff that Matt's kind of slowly bringing into the core as well, which we'll probably release at some point. But it's really nice to be able to just delete big chunks of code from that extensions library as they get replaced in vendor. So we've been using this. Editable cart stuff looks really, really powerful. I know that there's definitely use cases for it. We don't have one currently, but yeah, very cool.
Yeah. So that's good. Yeah, I think generally abandoned baskets, for example, workflows and stuff like that, or changes in the orders. I see a lot of benefits from that, and great to see a product evolving. And as usual, it's just solid and great, done by Matt and the team there, so everyone can benefit. And the breaking changes are coming, so probably everyone can be prepared as well for that one. Meetups are next, and Matt is also going to talk about packages on this meetup on Thursday, 17th February, and there's a nice combination of package gurus and masters out there. So
Liverpool is kind of, as they've said, the home of Umbraco packages. They've got Dan Booth, Kevin Jump, Lee Kelleher's obviously Liverpudlian, Mark Goodson's in Stockport, just outside of Liverpool. Matt's from Yorkshire, but let's clearly the north of England's the place to be for good package devs. So they're going to have a little panel discussion and chat about what's going on with being a package dev.
Yeah, it will be hosted by Emma, so a lot of interesting information to be learned, and it's an online event again, so everyone can dive in and learn from the gurus of packages amongst the Umbraco community. And there's a Umbraco London meetup that you've been organizing, and there's also an Umbraco Talks online with 2 talks already prepared.
Yeah, so Jason's going to talk about modern JavaScript, and because I think people still use jQuery a lot. We've kind of used jQuery as a bit of a punching bag on this show, but people use jQuery a lot, and it clearly does its job quite well. But that's not the way that modern JavaScript works now. People are doing things different. So Jason's going to talk a little bit about that and how you can blend that with the .NET world too. There's some interesting things to share there. And then Matt Wise is going to do a talk about feature flags in Umbraco 9, which I know you've explored as well, Marcin. We're going to get a demo of Matt's really cool feature flags package.
Nice. So that's a really good lineup, and again, it's also an online event, right? So that's where we can all check out if that's something what we can learn from and just enjoy. I'm interested in this JavaScript stuff. I'm still writing jQuery all the time. So
yeah, I've in the past 2-3 years got into writing proper like modular JavaScript, and it's so much nicer, so much nicer to work with, and it feels I can kind of context switch between C# and JavaScript without really having it being such a massive paradigm shift for.
It's just syntax usually, right? And some of the concepts. I also wrote an object-oriented JavaScript code recently, and it built it shipped, it worked. That's crazy. So that's the beauty of modern.
I saw Pete Duncanson, who we obviously know and love, and he was previously ranting about TypeScript, wasn't he, being the thing to do? And he said the other day, 3 years on, he's still using TypeScript in anger, and he still thinks it's the best decision he ever made. It's like refactoring some JavaScript code bases that he's working on incredibly powerful and easy. So, there's something to be said about JavaScript catching up with the rest of the world. We say catching up. It's been about 10 years now since it has had object-oriented features, but
since it's used for more than scrolling text on the screens. That's true. But that's a good reference point to another next topic. That is a history. And it's a long history of .NET that is turning 20 years this year. And that's crazy. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
And I, as an active .NET community member here in Poland, I watched a lot of guys who I adore and admire and follow, referencing back their memories of start, the versions of the .NET that they used first. And it also brought my memories, because I started with web forms and ASP. Back in the days, and I won't be even trying to count down how long ago it was, but it was long ago. And it seems like the .NET changed drastically since then, and now we have a free closed platform, open source platform for building everything.
.NET, as in the underlying runtime, has existed, but that's started with VB, and then we have, in classic ASP, we've had C#, we've had F# introduced on that stack, we've had Blazor, and all kinds of things. There's been a lot of innovation and evolution there, so that's really, really exciting. Really exciting to see that it's hit 20 years, and I'm sure it's going to be around for 20 years more. It feels like the past 5 years it's kind of caught up with comparable modern languages, Go, etc., high performance languages. It really compares. The actual birthday is Sunday, not Monday. It's the 13th, the actual birthday. But the 14th, they've got their broadcast. 15th is an Azure open source day, basically celebrating all things open source, which is really, really cool. And then there's some kind of ongoing events and talks and stuff happening.
Yeah, I saw the Polish community guys. I don't know if they will be doing it in English, but they also going to combine their experience, and maybe I will share the link if it will be in English. But it's interesting to learn about the stories of specific areas. And here Arnold also referred back to the past, that Umbraco 2.0 version was 100% .NET, and it released in 2004. 18 years. So yeah, when open source was not that what we used to see it as it is now. So that's interesting. And again, as I agree with you, it's probably just the beginning. The C# is growing rapidly and changing that much that soon or sooner than later probably we will have so many ways of doing things with C# that we will probably attend some talks about the best practices, best ways of writing, pattern matching, etc. But
a lot of people are saying that F#. I mean, I think F# is quite hipster, and it's a lot of the people who've been screaming from the rooftops about it are the kind of big fans of F#, and they've been proclaiming it's far better than C#, doesn't have any of the legacy architectural decisions, blah blah blah. And that may be true to some extent. However, I fully agree. I think C# is exciting. It is evolving. We're getting some really cool language features, things that are really, really nice and clean. Although there was an argument this week in the community. Did you see this? About in C#11, they want to introduce a syntax that's like a double negation.
Double exclamation mark. Yeah, I saw it somewhere.
So it's not. And it's like, that exists. We can do that in like JavaScript and stuff. Doesn't necessarily mean that should flow over into C#, but
a lot of these changes in C# are coming from F#, are coming from other languages, and the team behind the language is inspired a lot by other languages. And again, we've observed some of the functional languages boom, and that's why all the F# benefits popped out. And I think F# is great in comparison to other functional languages because of our knowledge of C#. But yeah, C# combines all and tries to reuse what's good from all of them, while still enabling us to do some more object-oriented, non-functional code as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward for more of these, and I want to switch to another languages soon. I still love C#. And yeah, let's see what the team will share with us on this anniversary broadcast this week. And yeah, Arnold also shared that Umbraco's birthday is on February 16th, so it combines ideally to this date period.
My goodness, so Neil's built Umbraco in 2 days from .NET coming Monday.
That possible. Start small, start somewhere. The next on our list is another Niels' blog post about the Index Now integration with Umbraco CMS, and we've mentioned the tweet he shared back in the days, and now it's followed by the blog post describing why and for what it was used. And yeah, as usual on Niels' blog, it's like great information, steps to reproduce code, and everything what is needed to do similar things. So yeah, that's amazing. And yeah, again, and now it's here for being used. If everyone will be facing the same request or need, we can do it.
I'd love to see this packaged up. I know we said this a few weeks ago. It's great to see the article written up at the very least, but I'd love to see it actually as a package. And I'd love to get Niels on the episode. He's in Washington, so it's a 6-hour time difference. Really difficult to do, but he's doing some really, really awesome content. So
yeah. Let's chase Niels and let's try that. We have couple guests from this part of the globe aligned and in the request needs. So maybe you can combine it one day. But yeah, good stuff, Niels. And if anyone is interested in more context of this integration, just check it out here. We'll of course link the materials down below. Coming back to Europe. Purnima's blog and the exploration of 3 nodes rendering notification in Umbraco 9. And I saw this discussion on Twitter that there were a lot of interesting ideas flying over of marking folders, for example, by colors due to its contents and for example number of items down below. So there's a lot of use cases and potential use cases to extend this functionality.
In in V8 and V7, I've had sites where we have a pickable home node, but then based on what's picked, we update the tree to have a home icon if that page has been selected as the home node. Some little things that just make a big difference to the editor experience, actually. And relatively simple to implement. This isn't a new V9 concept. This has been around since, I think, V6 earlier, perhaps.
Yeah, I had an idea back in the days of lighthouse performance testing that if we will have a scheduled lighthouse performance scans, you can have a badges on the notes where you have decreased performance or some performance degradation, for example, and you can go there and explore what happened and why, etc. Same with the SEO. So I see a lot of potential in integrating with this controller, and there's a really nice explanation on how we can do it here from Purnima. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff here, and it's easy integration to make really cool stuff. Purnima also will be talking on the event called UK Tech Community Day, and it will be about Umbraco 9 and the community in general.
So it's the talk's titled "Hello Umbraco 9." It's at, I think, 11 a.m. on UK time on Thursday morning, but it's free to sign up, free to watch. They've had about 1,600 signups, I think, to the event already. So
nice.
Like, it's going to be a lot of people there. Go take a look. There's some other fantastic talks out there. Loads of Blazor focused talks, loads of modern C# stuff, Smasher stuff as well. Go take a look.
Cool. I need to check it as well. Another event we had in our past is Dutch Festival 2021, and all of the recordings now, am I correct? All of the videos now are on this YouTube channel, on Umbraco community channel, grouped in this great playlist. So yeah, we can go back and refresh our knowledge on specific areas. And I missed some of these topics, and I was also looking forward to some of it, and now we can all enjoy them. It was Dave's talk about editors happy, for example, and there were a couple others heavily mentioned on Twitter. So yeah, it's here. Everyone can see that, and yeah, great set of topics. Did you come check any of these? Of course, you were watching.
I watched on the day, so no, I've not gone and caught back up, but there's probably a couple I should.
Nice. If we are on YouTube, let's stay on YouTube. 2 more articles read by Paul Seal in 24 days cycle this year. Day 9, where there was an article about mitigating the buzz factor with self-sufficient Umbraco site, and Day 10, an article about upgrading 1,000 of Umbraco sites in the cloud by Mikkel from HQ team. 2 of them are right now to be listened, and we can stop here for a while. And thanks to Philip and Soren for the feedback in the comments on YouTube, because last week we asked about when and how you watch us and or listen to us, and it turned out that them at least are listening more than watching the content of the umbraCoffee. And here we see the potential for the polls production.
It's clear there is some demand for an audio version of this umbraCoffee episode, so we'll re-spark those thoughts, I think. And anyone watching today, please let us know, comment below or in the chat now, how do you watch umbraCoffee? Do you listen, put it on in the background? Do you actually watch us sit here and look miserable and share a screen, or do you genuinely just listen? Because we could totally spin it out on a podcast
on some podcasting platforms. That's the plan. So if you can still let us know, that's the still call for action and our question we want to know from you about. And that's it. And last but not least is a new profile from this month, and it's a Ronak Panchal from India, and a backend lead.NET developer working with Umbraco for 7 years already, and the story of him is very well described here. And we've noticed the growth of the community out there. Some meetups organized as well recently, so there might be more people who will be more recognizable and visible across the community in the world. And there are some pretty cool tips from Ronak shared here. So yeah, we can definitely take a look, and congrats on being recognized as a U profile this month. And that's all from our list. Anything else to add, Callum? Anything what we missed?
I don't think so. I think that might be it for this week.
Yep. So that's definitely, we still want to hear from you on when you watches or listens to us. So if you are here, please let us know in the comment, even if it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or the next Friday, or the Friday in 2023. We still want to know about it, because based on it, we will probably do some enhancements of our setups and actions. But generally, yeah, keep us all posted and informed about whatever you do in the Umbraco sphere. And we will definitely see each other on the next Friday as usual. So thanks, everyone. Thanks, Callum. Have a great rest of the day and the weekend ahead. And see you next week.